All right, we're going to look at some excerpts from an anti-federalist paper and a federalist paper. And so this first excerpt is an anti-federalist. So this is someone who is writing during this period where the Constitution is being debated and discussed, and states are trying to determine whether they should ratify the Constitution, formally approve this Constitution. And so this first excerpt from Anti-Federalist number 46, it says, "My object is to consider that undefined, unbounded, and immense power which is comprised in the following clause, and to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers, and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States, or in any department of offices thereof. Under such a clause as this, can anything be said to be reserved and kept back from Congress? In giving such immense, such unlimited powers, was there no necessity of a Bill of Rights to secure to the people their liberties? Is it not evident that we are left wholly dependent on the wisdom and virtue of the men who shall from time to time be the members of Congress, and who shall be able to say 7 years hence, the members of Congress will be wise and good men, or of the contrary character?" So there are a couple of real concerns that the Anti-Federalists have, specific portions of the Constitution, and this first one is talking about that necessary and proper clause, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18. So under the text questions, what words does the author use to describe the powers in the Constitution? Undefined, unbounded, immense, unlimited. So real concerns that this government using this one particular clause is going to be too powerful, far more powerful than obviously under the Articles of Confederation. Does the necessary and proper clause quoted in this excerpt comfort or upset the author? And obviously it upsets them. This idea of what can stop Congress from becoming all-powerful, because this says that Congress can make all laws which shall be necessary and proper. And we already know that this is also called the elastic clause, because it stretches its powers that Congress has. Does the author believe a Bill of Rights is necessary? And absolutely, it says, was there no necessity of a Bill of Rights to secure the people their liberties? So absolutely, they believe that this is necessary to protect the people's rights. Does the author trust the future members of Congress? No. It says, who's to say if these members in the future will be wise and good men, or of the contrary, which means not wise and not good men? And so is this author a Federalist or Anti-Federalist, and how can you tell? And obvious, it's an Anti-Federalist. This one's someone making an argument against this new Constitution, thinking that it will take powers away from the states, powers away from the people, and give this new government a lot more power. And they feel that there needs to be a Bill of Rights to protect the people's rights, and there's just far too much power that is going to be given to this new national government. All right, the next excerpt is a Federalist. It says, the most considerable of the remaining objections is that the plan of the convention contains no Bill of Rights. Bills of Rights have no application to constitutions professedly founded upon the power of the people and executed by their immediate representatives and servants. Here, in strictness, the people surrender nothing, and as they retain everything, they have no need of particular reservations. We, the people of the United States, to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I go further and affirm that bills of rights, in the sense and to the extent in which they are contended for, are not only unnecessary in the proposed Constitution, but would even be dangerous. They would contain various exceptions to powers not granted, and on this very account would afford a colorable pretext to claim more than they were granted. For why declare that things shall not be done which there is no power to do? Why, for instance, should it be said that the liberty of the press shall not be restrained when no power is given by which restrictions may be imposed? So what words did the author use to describe the Bill of Rights? Unnecessarily dangerous. What part of the Constitution is quoted in the first paragraph? That's the preamble, we the people. Does the author believe there is a need for the addition of a Bill of Rights to the Constitution? And that is no. And summarize 2 points of the author's arguments in your own words. And I'm going to give you more than 2. So the Constitution's powers come from the people, and they are executed by the representatives. So the power, once again, going back to this idea of popular sovereignty. The people have the power. We just delegate some of that authority over to the representatives that we elect. But if they are not doing what we want them to do, then we have elections so we can get rid of them. People surrender nothing. They retain all of the power, we the people. And I think the big takeaway from this is if you put a list, what if you leave something out? So there was this fear that the list may be taken as the only rights, as opposed to an all-inclusive list would just absolutely be impossible. And the other thing they talk about is this government that they are creating is a government that can only do the things that are listed in the Constitution. So the example is, why would we have to put something in writing to protect the press when we don't give this new government any power over the press? So is this author a federalist or anti-federalist? Obviously, this is a federalist. They are arguing against the need for a Bill of Rights, which is kind of that deal breaker for the anti-federalist and one of the reasons that we get the Bill of Rights that we have. And the other thing, it says the Constitution is enough to protect the rights because they are trying to create a government that is limited, and it cannot go beyond. So if we look at add this kind of to the 10th Amendment's argument, the national government only has those powers that are specifically listed out in Article 1, Section 8 Article 1, Section 8. And all other powers are reserved for the states. So the states still maintain a lot of power. And finally, I'm going to kind of read quickly through these. I'm not going to read the questions themselves, but number 1 is an anti-federalist, number 2, federalist, number 3, anti-federalist, number 4, anti-federalist, 5 is federalist, 6, federalist, 7, anti-federalist, 8, federalist, 9, anti-federalist, 10, the Constitution already contains a Bill of Rights, so we may as well add a whole Bill of Rights. That would be an anti-federalist. 11 is federalist, 12, federalist, 13, anti-federalist, and 14 would be federalist. And so this bottom part, I'm not going to go over that. So